Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Plexigo in Lonavala with the festival director, Mr. Madhav Todi. Uh, it's the NN Sippy tribute, essentially, but today we've taken a little bit away. We've kept Vivek out of this because this is about a film that I was associated on, some of my newer work. So, as the associate producer on this fabulous film, Mukti Bhavan, which made waves internationally with the name Hotel Salvation. I have the immensely talented director Subhashish Bhutiani with me. Welcome, Shubhi. Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to start since this was an NNCP tribute, and I kept speaking about my father over the last six episodes that we've had, 2 weekends we are done with. Um, I'd like to start with talking about your father. Uh, a little bit, of course, as your father, but more as the producer who, as I saw closely and worked with, a man who completely and passionately, but yet very smartly handled the film to see it through the glory that it has seen. You made a fabulous film. You did a tremendously, I mean, it's just unbelievable being your first film to have made a film like this. But I also see a lot of Sanjay Bhutiani's hand, with the film all the way through. So I'd like you to talk about that because it'll tell people about a producer's role. Everyone says producer kya karta hai, you know.
I wish he was here to personally answer this. But from my perspective, making a film like this cannot, I don't think it can be done without complete cohesion between the creative aspect and the producing aspect. Because this film was made on, we had a little joke that it was made on a love budget, where everybody was only working on it for love or something like that. So for him and his team to pull this off with the uh, is nothing short of a miracle. And I think that if the film, since the film has been seen, has traveled to places, has been put together, I don't think, I think credit to complete credit to him and his team who worked very hard and on it. Because I think, you know, the, somebody told me about this thing where um, there's a triangle, and in that triangle there's money, there's time, and there's quality, and you can have two of those things at the same time. And we were trying to do all three of the full triangle. So I think it was just a product of immense hard work and being resourceful. I think the side of my father that I got to experience firsthand was just how resourceful he was.
Absolutely, he pulled every trick out of the hat and more. Trust me, I know he's done that. So yes, we salute him as a producer. Great job. But tell me, let's do a little flashback. You went to film school in New York,
Yes.
and uh, when was it that you decided that you wanted to be a filmmaker, and that too this aspect? Why not some other be an editor or be a DOP or something?
Actually, my journey, I think, started off with acting. When it started from, I think, a lot of people similarly, of doing theater and school plays. And the kind of joy and the kind of joy I felt in being part of something like that and being able to express myself that way was just the most thrilling experience of my life, you know. And I knew I had to be part of this world somehow. But when I saw what my teacher at that time was doing, of directing us and putting costumes together, and uh, I wanted to do that. You know, I also had a knack of or a love to write. And at the same time, my father has been a film buff. So since I was a little kid, we were watching a lot of movies, and that still hasn't changed. So I think somewhere all of these things came together: love for cinema, writing, yeah, performance, in and yeah, and just the whole experience of putting a story together. I think this is how I decided. So it was pretty early. I think I was maybe 16 or 17 at that time when I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, yes, Mukti Bhavan was the one that you decided to make as your first film, but I'm sure you played with some other ideas and you had some other scripts which eventually you kept aside and went ahead with this. Um, was there any other one that for a while you were maybe I should do this or or
I
was it only Mukti Bhavan all the way?
No, actually, Mukti Bhavan was the third screenplay I had written. Um, but I had written, I think, two scripts right before that, and I wasn't satisfied with how they had turned out. Or at the same time, I became very attached to Mukti Bhavan, and when people started, and I remember actually when I would tell people about these hotels or tell them what the film was going to be about, they would always smile first, and there would be like a sparkle, and they would be you'd pull them in immediately, and I think that really helped me to pursue this, because I knew that this was a story that this was a story that was I don't know. It took me until the end of the film to realize maybe why I was making it, which I won't talk about because I guess it's personal. But or maybe I will. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think It was the third script, so I think if there's any aspiring filmmakers out there, I think they can take inspiration from the fact that sometimes the first one you keep writing, you keep working on it, you keep working on it. So I'm gonna go back to those hopefully sometime soon.
Well, that's great. That's great. How did you cast Lalit Bell in the father's role? I mean, I think there were bigger names and some other ideas that you had initially, if I remember, Sanjay telling me at some point. But
I had written the part with him in my mind, but not with the I didn't know that the intention would be to end up casting him. But I had seen him in a film called Titli, and I don't think he had any dialogues in the film, but he had such a strong presence that even if he was not in the frame, you were thinking about him. And I think this kind of strong patriarchal character somehow seeped in, and I loved his eyes when I first saw him. When I actually saw pictures of him, he has these very deep eyes that feel like he's lived a life. He has seen the world, and he's been through it, and I don't know. So I think it's always a little bit of a mystical thing why you end up casting someone, but it was. And then when we auditioned him, he was great. So I think it kind of naturally took its course, but he was someone I had in my mind while I was writing.
we won about what 36 awards, I think, most of them in the most prestigious festivals across the globe. The kind of acclaim the film's got over the couple of years that it's been out now. It's had a theatrical release. I think it had a 100-day run in Japan, which is a never heard of thing for a Hindi film in Japan. So all this kind of success of all kinds, the theatrical 100 days or the awards or the reviews that came out. Did you really expect it to be this big in that sense? Always?
um I really made it with the simple intention that when people see the film, they should call their parents, or they will think about what their lives are like with their parents, and that was my what I wanted for the end of the film. And I think and often the best responses to me have been of people coming up to me and talking to me about their personal stories, and how they've experienced similar things from different parts of the world. And for me, I think that has been the most gratifying part of this whole journey. So no, I mean, you cannot expect any of this stuff. When you're making a film, you're kind of hoping for the best at all times, but at the same time, and you just pray that people will get to see it, especially this kind of film where it's not the easiest to get eyeballs necessarily. But yeah, I think I was really thrilled and overwhelmed with the response, because it really, like, it had a really nice journey.
So I read the script and came on board, as you know, and it was exactly this emotion. You just hit the nail on the head, and I kind of saw myself with my dad or not with my dad in some scenes, and all of that ran through my mind and I was like, wow, I this script is amazing, and uh, that's it. We hadn't met. I just received the script through your lawyer, and I was on board real quickly.
Yeah,
So it
thank
was
you.
it was fabulous. The writing was fabulous. The emotions were fabulous, and I love the humor in the film. The way you've treated it. So both credit to you as a writer and the director for getting the performances and those little nuances. Those I really loved through the film.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So what's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, I really enjoyed writing, and I was very scared about writing this Skype scene where the father and the daughter are talking. I was pretty scared about that because it was one of those scenes that's, it's a bit different from the texture of that scene is very different from the rest of the film. But I enjoyed a lot of I enjoyed even the walk that Adil and Lalit ji were taking on the ghats, because
Yeah,
that we didn't write that scene. We just talked about it and just shot while we were talking about it while we were shooting.
nice.
So I think that was a really nice experience. um but I enjoyed I honestly I enjoyed almost making a lot of the scenes because there were little bits of humor coming in. There's a farewell scene in the house, uh which I also enjoyed very much, where uh and I got to work with such great actors in that scene for and so I think that, I think whenever in this script also, I would say that a lot of the credit goes to, it was a very collaborative experience because we developed it through this thing called the Biennale Cinema College. So they gave invaluable input. The actors came and they added so much. My crew was free to talk to me and would give me amazing ideas. So it was really a film that was growing while we were making it. I felt it got better while we made it. Yeah.
Have you the most cliched question, Adil
Mm.
Hussain. You
Yes.
know, let's talk about Adil. What a fabulous actor! What a good man. But how did you win him over, and how was the journey with him? Through the process of making, because experienced senior actors sometimes tend to want to bully, if I may use that word, a young first-time director and kind of always impose their point of view. But this film is obviously your film all the way through. So
Mhm.
how did you manage that with a
If there
great
is
actor
one
like
word I
him?
would never use for Adil is a bully. He's the most kind, gentle, gracious man, with really a spirit that lifts everybody up, you know. And so the way I won Adil over was, it was very simple. Again, my dad was very resourceful and found his information, and he got in touch, and he just sent him a line of what the film was about. And Adil was interested to meet me, and we met, and we literally spoke what the film was for just 10 minutes first, you know. And after 10 minutes of me talking to him about what the film was going to be about, and what his character is going to be, he was on. So we had a very lovely converse, and after that we just talked about life and where we're from, and our own personal experiences, and we just developed a great bond through the process of the making of this film. But it was, he hadn't even read the script when he said yes. He was, I think we just talked, and it was we understood what we were doing. Yeah, he understood what I was trying to
And
do.
that's very evident with the fantastic performance. I mean, he obviously understood it to the T. He believed in you to the T, and that's why a great film is made. That's how it happens.
And I had a little bit of a doubt when I first met him. I won't lie, because he is the not like that character at all, and he is so agile in the way he moves, and so gentle, and so, he has a very relaxed aura about him. Whereas this character was someone who's under constant stress. He's just constantly living with the weight of the world. And but it was when I first saw him in costume, and we got the mustache that we wanted, and we just started to put together the look of this character. While it is a very simple person, sometimes it's not, it's not always so easy to get the look correct. So once I saw him in costume, I was like, okay, yeah, that's Rajiv. There we go. You know, that's when I was, yeah. And then once we were on set, it was, he was really driving. It was just a pleasure. It was just a pleasure to be there and work with him.
Awesome. 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 So tell me, now it's been a couple of years. Where are you at today? What's in store ahead? What's in the present? Have you been directing some ad films and other things,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
just busy writing?
directing some ad films, and been writing a lot uh, over the past year, like actually couple years now, since Mukti Bhavan. So hopefully next year I get to make the next film. So we will, fingers crossed, and then but we will see how the situation is going to be around us. And yeah, I'm really excited for what's
I'm
gonna
ready to back you again. I'm saying it in public. Lovely, lovely. No, that's great. Any questions from the public watching, the people watching, our lovely audience, sir?
People have generally been appreciative. The feedback in the comments I've been getting here is nice picture and things. More specific comments or questions are not here. It's in general. So obviously, I think Shubhashish ji, I would actually be happy if you can, shed some more light on certain scenes, certain issues that people can look forward to during the screening of the film that you feel, were either difficult to shoot, either with technical or in terms of the acting skills required. So it would actually, sort of keep us
Yeah,
more.
I think one of the scenes that I really enjoyed filming was the scene that they go to a Ganga Aarti. The family goes to a Ganga Aarti, and we didn't have the obviously a budget to create our own Ganga Aarti of what happens in Banaras. So we said let's just go with a small crew, and with a crew. And basically what we did is there's hundreds of boats on the river, and the way we got the performances and the visuals that we wanted was we went boat hopping. We just would say sorry, 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 and just jump on the boat and start. We get the shot that we wanted. So that was something special. But it's a bit complicated to talk about scenes in the film, because I also want people to just experience it. And yeah, I just want them to see the film through in their own ways.
Surely, just on something that Pravesh mentioned to you, you've won how many awards commercially? He mentioned it's run in Japan for 100 days. I also know that commercially in India it did reasonably well. Pravesh, obviously, I'm not asking you for any numbers in terms of the, but I think it's been a reasonably profitable and successful commercially, the film overall.
It's been on Netflix, it's been on Hotstar, it's been on Star TV, so absolute best platforms, great viewership worldwide, theatrical in a lot of places worldwide. So yes, it's a success from all perspectives.
So
Uh,
isn't that a very difficult thing to pull off? Because normally when you talk about a film which is highly acclaimed on the segment of, critically acclaimed as they call it, it's generally not commercial success. And also we know that there are a lot of films which are critically acclaimed. They don't even get to see the release commercially. I mean, we know of enough number of films on that. So considering both these, I think to both you gentlemen, I mean, a lot of credit. And how does it feel? Both of you, I would request you to, speak from your heart in the context of how, satisfied, and not just in plain terms. Yes, it's very satisfying, but little more than that for our viewers who are logged in this discussion as to how, what is, give us a little more about that than simply saying, yes, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, I think personally, so Pravesh sir, please you go ahead.
No, you let's hear you first, because I know very specifically that a lot of credit, as we mentioned right at the very start, for this aspect that we've just spoken about, it has to go to Sanjay Bhutiani, his father, who as a producer, believed in a certain path that he was going to take with it. I'll admit I had given him other paths and alternates, and they were I mean, he's performed far better than what I was suggesting he does with the film. And of course, it was always he's the lead producer, it's his call. And as a team player, I thought my job was to share certain ideas on how we could, have the world see the film. But Sanjay knew more, believed more, did better, and proved us all wrong. So I salute the man, and the actual emotion of the bigness that the film achieved in all of this is a different emotion that Shubhi can tell us about.
Yeah, I think it's you, I think it's really a privilege that the film, and an honor that the film went to so many places. um I I really couldn't have imagined it. And I mean, even in the UK, I was really thrilled when the British Film Institute picked it up and released it all over the United Kingdom and Wales, and and yeah, I think for me, the fact that people still write to me today about the film, I just, for me as a filmmaker, the hope is that the film lasts the test of time. And so hopefully that's the, and if people are, and I'm glad that the film is, was successful for the people involved. That's obvious, that obviously makes me very happy as well.
So I
Absolutely,
remember
sir.
that.
I've been getting messages. I've done uh, some interviews recently on television in the US and some live chat shows and other things on the internet. But I've had a lot of viewership, especially in the US currently over the last 4 or 5 days, and everyone's kind of come back to me saying, "Yes, we know your father's films were great. Yes, we know those, we love those films. We've seen them time and time again, but we didn't really realize or pay attention to you and your work. And now they're all asking, how do I see Mukti Bhavan? How do I see Daira? How do I see this and how do I see that? And that's finally, I think, that's happening for me, which is so good. So of course, Mukti Bhavan is right there, and I'm always proud, and I stand there on the roof and do that. I'm glad I'm part of that project. So thank you,
Oh,
Shubi.
that's really good to know that. I still remember continuing from where Subhashish left off in terms of the theatrical release in the British cinema. I remember reading in the Indian press what great reviews that film had got when it was released across UK. So, Subhashish, do you think you would just like to speak a little more in terms of?
Yeah, I think full credit there to the British Film Institute, because once somebody picks up your film, it they know their market, they know their audience, um, and they know how everything works there, and they really took care of the film, and they got lots of people to see it, and they released it in so many cities and towns, and they had a very clear strategy in place. So I think, for me, it was a really lovely experience to work with them. And yeah, I think they did everything possible from their end to get the film seen by as many people, and we were really fortunate, yes, to get really good reviews. And I think that helped to hopefully bring more people into the cinemas.
How are we doing with time, sir?
Yeah, we just about have a couple of minutes more in case you have any more questions to
I
ask.
have one. I have one for Shubi. I want to take him back to a very emotional moment. Um, the very first UNESCO award. You remember that
Yes.
experience, that moment, that screening, that standing ovation. We were here. We got the videos, a little later. But tell us about that moment, that very first award with the
Oh,
film.
I think I would rather talk about the first screening because the first
Okay.
time we saw the film on a big screen, and I was a sweating mess that day, because I was just so nervous. So, how are people going to receive it? And a lot of my friends had come from, one of my cinematographers is from Europe, so he came over, and I had another friend who came from Geneva, and we
This
had our
screening was in Italy.
in Italy, yeah. And we had a crew, we had members of our crew there as well, my production designer, the producers, and we had all these people there. And then there was 500 other people, obviously, the audience who were watching it. And you have no, once you're very deep inside a film, and you're making it, you kind of lose perspective. It becomes very personally attached to you, and you can't see. So when we were in the cinema and scenes were happening and people would smile or laugh, I think your heart would just skip a beat. And at the end, people were really appreciative of the film. And um, and I don't know, I just remember being, I kind of froze. I didn't know what to do. I think so, somebody had to tell me to thank and everything. So I was in my own. It was a bit euphoric in that way for me. So overwhelming. Definitely that feeling. Not to use that word, but yeah, it was definitely overwhelming.
Well, I think that
So
was more about passion in creating a masterpiece and understanding that people have appreciated it rather than anything else. And obviously, that passion was a reflection of whatever you were undergoing clearly at the time of the screening and thereafter.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, the film becomes very personal to you, especially during the course of making it. It becomes so you and it was my first time, so you don't know how, you're experiencing many emotions the first time, so for me it was definitely something that I will think about even on my deathbed. It'll be one of those highlight reel moments for me. Yeah.
awesome,
Right.
awesome. On that note, I think Madhavji,
Thank
we
you.
will
Thank you, Pravesh.
thank
Thank
Shubhi
you,
for being with
Subhashish.
us. We
Yes.
will
Absolutely.
thank our
Thank
audience
you.
for watching the film ahead.
I hope you
And
enjoy the film. To whoever's watching.
No,
I'm
I'm
going to
sure
repeat
everybody
it.
will.
I'm going to see it yet again.
Sure, everyone will enjoy it. And thank you very much once again for coming on the panel.
Thank
And
you.
Pravesh,
Thank
thank you
you.
too. And
Thank
of
you.
course, we
Thank
will
you.
keep meeting on this panel over the next 2 days.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good
Thank you.
evening. Thank you.